So you're a regular at this event.
Yes.
The backdrop has changed. You love the tax bill.
Love it.
Is there anything not to love? Is there anything that could go wrong?
You mean US-wise or being here?
No.
Look,
back there.
Back there, and what we're seeing, I've been on record now for the last 12 months. It's a business-friendly administration, a great team that's engaged with business, and certainly I've been engaged with the administration. I've been very happy with the progress we've made on the regulatory reform front, now the tax reform, soon infrastructure, and I'm on the task force with Secretary Acosta's leading on vocational training and apprenticeships and what we need to do to create the worker of the future for America and, frankly, retool the current worker as the digital revolution approaches us. So these are all big topics here at Davos, but big topics back home. And, here's what's happening back home. We've got action. And, despite all odds, we're moving the ball down the field, or the hockey puck for the you Canadians down the
Do you think despite all odds?
Yeah, despite all odds, because this is an unconventional presidency, and frankly, an outsider coming in is what the country voted in, clearly. Mm-hmm. And, this is all feel your way through what is the morass of Washington, which has not functioned very well for now about a decade. And so we have, from the business community point of view, a need to be competitive on a global scale.
Well, the tax, to your point, right? Yeah. Tax reform puts the U.S. back out front competitively.
Yes.
But won't Europe and China
probably
and other nations need to do something about that? And if so, what are they going to do and when?
Well, I was with President Macron on Monday night. He had an event at Versailles, which was, he invited the global business community on their way to Davos. Mm-hmm. This is a response. I mean, President Macron, he's also an outsider. I mean, he's reborn, if you like, from his previous party. But he's talking about tax reform to stay competitive with the United States. So, hey, great, so we're getting reform in other parts of the world, right? So this is one of the consequences, I think, that's intended here.
Does it not run the risk, though, of becoming a race to the bottom on the corporate tax rate?
I don't think so. I think, if you look at what revenues get used for, governments hopefully spend it wisely on infrastructure and on societal good. And, by the way, I'm for regulations as long as they're science-based, as long as they soundly consult the regulatee. So that type of approach we should all want. So we need some tax, but we need the tax to keep us all competitive. I don't think there's a race to the bottom and no chance of that.
What are your priorities for the tax cut savings?
Well, we are investors, and we're creating out of DowDuPont these three amazing growth companies, and we're going to be investing.
But that's 24 months away.
Well, not that far away. It's into next year. We said on our last earnings call, I'm in a quiet period, so I won't say any more, but it's not that far away. It's into 19. But these three growth companies we're suiting up right now, and the one that's materials, the one that will be the future Dow, is investing big time in the U.S. and the Gulf Coast, and we will keep investing there.
The important question is, do those plans change because of the money? So to what degree?
They change quite substantially because we can be competitive exporting out of the United States. And I know you're going to get to trade next, but that's why it's very important that we stay globally competitive. We're not just sellers to the U.S. market. In fact, the chemical industry is the second largest exporter for them from the United States. So we are exporting, and the more we can get to be competitive in the U.S., the more we'll invest in the U.S.
So incrementally you're investing how much more as a result of tax
we haven't
reform?
disclosed that number because we're forming this joint venture, these ventures that I've talked about, but, several billions of dollars.
How about hiring? How about wages?
Yeah, look, we've been hiring the last 5 years, 20-odd thousand people, when you include all of our various pieces. About half of those are millennials. We are a big recruiter, and we recruit from around the world, but certainly in the United States, we are big recruiters of skills. Here's the problem, supply side. The US only graduates 50,000 STEM graduates a year. There's 500,000 vacancies. I can't get enough workers. I have to train my own. So one of the most important things we do is have to get ready for this digital revolution, the skills we need. That's the issue of the United States. We have downskilled the workforce. Now we need to upskill them.
Indirectly, you're raising an important question.
Yes.
You're with the president when it comes to taxes, clearly. You're with the president when it comes to trade.
Yes.
Are you with the president on immigration? Because immigration can solve that problem.
Yeah. Look, I'm with creating the right environment to remain competitive out of the United States. The United States has now been, for over 18 months, one of the best performing economies in the world. That's not an accident. It's because we're getting investment back into the country, because we're seeing trajectories on fiscal policies of certainty. I am sure as we get through trade and as we get through immigration, we'll get pro-competitive policies. I am confident of that.
You mentioned that Dow-DuPont is splitting into 3 companies. That's the plan.
Yes.
Is that firm, or have you considered the proposal that Trian, for example, has floated and some analysts have supported, that perhaps the company would be better divvied up into 4 or even 5 spincos?
We spent a lot of time in the middle of last year as we were going through the last series of regulatory approvals to look at exactly that question. And we came up with what we believe is to be the best shareholder-friendly plan, which is the 3. Okay? These 3 companies will be born sometime next year, and when they're born, they'll go on their own trajectories and do what they need to do. But as of now, we're firm on that plan. We listen to all shareholders, not just the activists, but they had a big part to play in helping us understand their points of view. In this new age model, where every owner needs to have a voice, it's up to us as managers and as board members to listen carefully. I believe we did at Dow-DuPont.
There's some concern over how the balance sheet is going to be divvied up among those 3 companies. Which of the spincos is going to carry the most leverage, which is most suitable for that leverage, and which is going to carry the least?
So stay tuned. That is one of the answers, the questions that we will answer. There is a method to our madness here. We need to get ourselves organized, but we will answer that question, as I know a lot of people are asking that question.